Hey guys, so somebody had asked me to do a tutorial on how I do my watercoloring. I'm going to use the Faber-Castell colored pencils that I purchased over the weekend and had received yesterday. Let me just preface this. I am by no means experienced at doing this. I've only been doing this for like a couple of weeks. And I have just gotten these pencils, and they do move differently than my Inktense pencils. And Inktense are by Derwent. Those are actually ink inside of those pencils. So these are made a little bit differently, and I found out, yesterday by coloring with them, that there is a little bit difference. There's a difference in the way it lays down, in the way it works for me. I'll just preface it by saying that. So I'm just going to show you what I do, and I'm not going to edit out anything that I feel like you should see. I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to color this image that I picked out. And hopefully I won't get in the way of the camera, and I can show you what it is that I do. And this was requested by somebody who had seen my images that I colored up yesterday. So let me show you first. This is the watercolor tablet that I got at Target. 20 sheets, cold press, 140 pound. This is in the kids section where the craft aisle is in my Target. So I used the cheap paper because I didn't feel like buying the expensive kind yet until I know better about what I'm doing. So that's what I use. And I usually, excuse me, my nose is itching. I usually only stamp one image on the paper, just in case I want to mark up the paper a little bit, and then I'll make sure I don't go too close to the stamped image because I usually will want to die cut it out. Alright, we're going to use this stamp today, and this stamp is a Scruffy Little Cat stamp. You can see it here. It's from Crafter's Companion. So we're going to color her up. And you can see the reason I picked this one, part of the reason is because I have a color reference if I want to make it pink. I haven't really decided yet if I want to make her pink or not. And I will probably show you a little bit of the dress, the hair, and the face. I probably won't do, some of this other stuff, depending on how long this is going to take. So let's get started. First thing first is I know this pencil is the one I used for the skin the other day, and I like the color because I marked it with some washi tape on the end. And this is brown ochre, number 182. It's on the pencil. So that's what I'm going to use for her skin, and I'm going to keep this image over to my side so I can actually refer to it if I feel like it. And I have my water brush pen right here, and it's filled with water, and I have a paper towel so I can wipe off any extra water or any color that I want to switch over to. So you're going to see me go off to the side sometime and do that, and I'll try not to squeeze too much water. Like I said, I'm not a experienced person by any means, and somebody had asked me to do this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and, she has a big head, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn her upside down, and this is just so I don't get more stuff on the this part, the main part of the image, as I'm coloring, because I'm going to start with her skin. Now, some people will color on the image a little bit, and then they'll go in with their water brush. I don't do that. I actually, well, sometimes I do. It just depends. I have found that since I'm not used to these pencils yet, it's better for me to control the color by just going onto the pencil, taking my water brush tip to it. You can see it looks wet now, and then coloring on the image. So I'm going to see if I can do this while talking to you, and apparently I can't. I hope this was the color I used. It's kind of dark. You see it's coming on dark. So I'm just going to push it around a little bit because I don't want that too much darkness on her skin. Oh, and just so you know, I stamped the image out with Ranger Archival ink. It is waterproof. Now you can see me pushing around the ink, or I'm sorry, the color, because I don't want her to be that dark. The color that I got when I touched the paper was too dark for me. I want her to be a little bit lighter. And I'm not sure yet if I'm going to color in her eyebrows with this flesh tone. I hope this is the color I used. It's a little bit different for me. My Derwent color is something I've been coloring with for a few weeks now, and I actually preferred that color, so I haven't found a good substitute yet for it. You'd think I would, because the Derwent has 72 colors, and the what do you call it? The Faber-Castell has 120. So you'd think I would be able to find a substitute for that, right? I haven't yet. Because what you should do is actually make a color swatch for every single colored pencil so you know what it looks like on the paper that you're coloring with. I haven't done that because I'm too lazy. So now you see I have only touched the pencil once, and that was at the beginning. And I'm just moving the ink around still, even with the water that's in the brush. I'm not really squeezing my brush. I'm just barely, like, you know, I'm just moving the water around really. And that is more because I want to get to a certain lighter tone in the skin color. So what do you guys think? Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and also color her eyelids. And that's because I want a layer color. So I want to see how that reacts. And that's more of me taking a risk and seeing what happens. Because, you know, I do that. And I went in, you can see I went in lighter. And I'm just coloring her lid a little bit. Because I want to see what the colored pencils will do when I layer the colors. You know, when you put makeup on, you're putting it on your skin, which has a color. You know, and so no one just starts with white, right? Unless that's your skin tone. Okay, so you can see that she's now got some color on her. I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and I'll come back and put some darker shading in where you would have more of a shadow effect on her. And then I'm going to work on the rest of her body, which is like her arms and her neck, which are really skinny. It's perfect for this type of brush that I have, and I try to be very careful so I don't go outside of the line. You can pick up some of the color, and my brush has too much water on it, so I'm going to go touch off to the side. And I hope this lighting is okay. I've got my daylight lamp on to hopefully help show you, and I hope I'm not covering it too much because I'm not used to doing coloring tutorials. I never did a Copic coloring tutorial because there's so many out there, and I'm not the best Copic colorer. So, you know, why am I going to try and show you what it is I do? Because there's probably better people out there who color, and, you know, it's better if you learn from somebody who is, you know, a little bit better than I am at, well, a little bit, who is better than I am at doing that. I think these images turn out a little bit nicer for me when I'm watercoloring. And anytime you see me go off to the left, it's because I'm touching my pencil tip. And I can probably just, you know, do it under the camera so you can see me doing it, but I keep forgetting to move it. Because I'm just sitting here coloring, right? So I'm just trying to take some of this water out now because I wanted a lighter shade. And then I can go back and make it darker because I really... I don't want to make her too dark for some reason. I don't know. I like a certain tone in the skin. And maybe it's more my skin. I don't know. I don't know why that is. It just is for me. I like to work with certain skin tones. So there she is. Her arms and her neck are done. Well, they're not done, but that first coating is there. And I know that I can switch pencils to a darker flesh tone if I want to give her the darker shadows. But since I'm still learning these pencils, I want to use the pencil, the same pencil, and just darken the shade with some layering of color, and see how that works for me. So I'm just doing her legs. I think I'm going to do those little in-between spots so they don't look like she's wearing socks or anything. And then I'll come back and do the little zigzags in her shoes, a different color. I don't know if you guys can see that. No, you can't, because I'm off camera. Okay. So anytime you want to try and go lighter, like this side right here has, I'm gonna come in some. This side right here on the left side, I had a little bit of a darker shade. I usually will just touch my paper towel. You can see those brown spots now, and I'll just try and get some of the color off, and then I'll come back with my pen, my water pen or water brush, and pick up some of the, try and pick up some of the color, because once it's dry it's harder to get it lighter. Okay, so now you can see she's not completely dry, but I'm going to go ahead and come back with another layer of the brown to try and do some of the shading that I think she needs, like up here under her hair line. For the person that was wondering how I do my blending, this isn't really blending. This is more of just shading in with a darker, you know, color, another layer of color. And that's what I found is kind of useful for me, at least for now, until I learn to do this, you know, a little bit better. And I'm going to just kind of blend it in a little bit, so it's not just like one line of the shadow up by her hair. So you can see how it's a little bit darker now towards the top. And I'm going to do it on her side too. I think I probably want to do this here. Give her some definition to her nose. I don't know, I may regret that. Okay, so now let me start. So now I'm not going to touch that pencil, because what I want to do is go lighter and in the middle of her face. So I'm pulling the color in and some of the water that's there, but you can see that this side of her face is a little bit darker than this side now, right? Because I haven't worked at all on the other side. And I gave her a nose bridge. See that? Just by bringing in some of that color off the pencil. But as I touch it, the more that I touch it, the lighter it will get, because it's adding water. See? Now her bridge is kind of gone, and I don't want to do that. So I'll go back to the pencil, which you can see the tip of it now. I keep forgetting. It goes off camera because my hand keeps moving on the left side. My left hand keeps moving. Okay, I don't really like that result, so I'm gonna do that a little bit. See, so you can kind of see a shadow on her nose. I'm gonna do it under her lips too. And this detail isn't actually in the stamped image that I showed you earlier. I'm just going with what I feel like doing. And if you guys, you know, have a different preference, that's, you know, that's up to you. You can always do that. I'm going to start on the left side and kind of bring the shadow down a little bit. She has got some mega eye makeup on. That's a mega mascara right there, right? I just took that away, didn't I? So you got to remember too, you don't want to get too wet. As if it gets really wet and puddly, you kind of want to lay off that area, because it's just, the more color you put on that, it's just going to bleed. It's not going to go to the place you want it to go. So that's why I just lay off that area and let it dry a little bit before I come back to it. It doesn't have to be completely dry. It just is something you want to, you know, kind of not mess with too much if you want that darker shade. So I'm just going back in her neck area and putting a little shadow here because her head is so big. I have this feeling she's got a big shadow on her shoulders. Look how tight her neck is. Look how big her head is. And I'm also going to go down into her legs and give her some shading down in there too. These are all kind of things you want to think about. Even if you're Copic coloring, not just with the watercolor pencils, because, you know, you want to show some sort of tonality, and you want to make it the character kind of look rounded. Do want to say rounded. So I'm gonna give her this part of her eyebrow. I'm gonna actually go over with a darker, you know, another layer of color, and that's kind of because this is a fold, right, in her eyelid. So I want that to be a little bit darker. And I'm not perfect by any means, so this is how I'm doing it. And hopefully that helps explain. So I'm going to stop there with her face for a little bit. Well, maybe I'll do some more of her head. Because it just looks flat to me. And I want it to look more, you know, dimensional. So I'm just adding more shading around the edge of her face. Kind of pulling that out a little bit. Because I don't want it to be like a hard line. I don't think anybody wants that. Nobody has that when you're looking at somebody. So I'm just kind of like trying to get rid of the line so that doesn't show up. Okay. So what do you guys think so far? I'm gonna bring it closer so you can see it close up. And don't mind the white specks inside of her eyelashes. I'm not worried about that. I can color over that with a black marker if I want to make it solid. You can see my paper towel over here with me wiping off. So I'm going to switch colors real quick here. And I'm going to do her hair, and hopefully I'll pick a good hair color for her. Let me see. This is walnut brown. So I'm just going to tap it off to the side and see if that's the color I want. Let me try something else. And let's see. Burnt umber. Okay, so walnut brown and burnt umber. The burnt umber is a lighter color than the walnut brown. And I'm going to hold those two here. The top one is the walnut brown, and the bottom one is the burnt umber. And I'm going to hold them like that so you can see that. Hopefully I'll hold them in camera. And again, I'm going to turn it upside down because I find that my strokes are a little bit better again because I want to be closer to her hair. And I'm going to start with the lighter color and just do some of her, you know, the top of her head. Some strokes in the top of her head like that. And I'm going to go with the, what do you call it? The grain of her hair, the direction that her hair is going in. I don't know if that's what you call it. This is just how I do it. And you notice that I like the darker spots because I want to show some contrast in the coloring. And I want some light spots too. So this is how I do it. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. This is how I do it. So if you want to do it your own way, you're more than welcome to. And you know, everybody has their own way of doing things. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm trying not to go off camera here too much. This is not how you color Copic hair, though. So, you color hair with Copics, though. So don't get the idea that this is that technique. Because it's not. This is just the way that I'm doing it. And I'm sure that there is a better way to do it, and I just haven't studied it yet. So I'm just going in with laying down some color. It's still the lighter color. I'm still using that lighter color. And notice, again, I'm going in the direction of the hair, because you don't make straight strokes when the hair is curly, right? And I'm trying not to touch those areas that aren't part of her hair. And I'm hoping that this all turns out nicely. So where am I at? 20 minutes. This is going to take forever to upload. I may upload this in standard instead of HD format, but we'll see how that works. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a darker color, and we'll see how much of a difference it makes. I don't know if they're going to allow me to do it this way. I've never uploaded a video longer than 15, so for my iPhone. I'm going to stop. Okay, so I'm still coloring. What I'm going to do is, I had stopped the video, but that's just because I want to upload in sections. I don't want to upload one long video, and then I'll splice them together when I get them uploaded, because I don't know if YouTube's going to allow me to do one longer than 15 minutes from my iPhone, because I know that everybody has that problem or limitation now. But I've been using my video camera for a long time, and it doesn't have that same limitation, so I'm gonna just, try and be cognizant of that. So later on, when I have to go to upload this thing, I'm not screwed with that. And so you notice that what I'm doing is I'm putting in darker streaks, and that's because I want her to have, like, some dark spots in her hair. I don't want it all to be one color. And I'm still using the darker color to fill in. So now I'm going to just kind of start getting some of that whiteness out of there, using just the water and the ink that's on my brush. So that there's some dark spots and there's some lighter spots in her hair. You can see the streaks. Again, this is watercoloring, right? You don't want it to look, at least I don't think watercoloring is meant to look like a solid color. You want it to look like it's watercolored, in my opinion. Other folks may differ on that, and that's just, again, that's my opinion, and that's how I'm going to do this. So that's what's going on. I'm trying to talk through this so you guys have something to listen to. You can listen to my voice. Because I'm not going to play music, since I may have some things to share with you. Oops, I just went over her arm. So I'm gonna take some of that color off. I'm gonna clean my brush off to the side here. You can see me dabbing. Okay, I think it's clean now. So I'm gonna try and pick up that little mess up I did. Oh yeah, see? Use some water and it comes right out. And then I can start up again with the hair. And just kind of filling in some of the lighter spots. And again, I haven't, you notice I haven't gone back to my pencil yet. And as I said before, it's because I want some lighter areas of her hair and some darker areas of her hair. But by doing what I'm doing, I'm kind of muddying it up. I'm kind of like, I'm losing the detail of the hair, the darker streaks and the lighter streaks by doing what I've just done. But it's okay, because you can always come back and put that in. That's the nice thing about this, is that you may be blending it in your colors, but you can always go back and put that detail back into your image. I forgot to do this section right here. And where am I on time? Okay. I'm probably going to stop every 15 minutes now that I realize that I shouldn't have done that first 20 minutes the way I did, because I don't know if it will upload the whole thing. Which is a pain, right? So the hair back here is behind this flower, which to me should make it darker because it's in the shadow of the flower. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making it darker right here behind the flower, and you know, behind her arm, just to give it that realism. Am I right in doing that? I don't know. I don't really care. You don't have to color perfectly, right? You should do it to what you like and not to please other people. Because if you like it, that's the important part, right? It's not like I'm hanging it in a gallery or anything. Okay, some of this stuff just looks like I hurried through it. So I'm gonna try and put some darker spots in here up against her head. Okay, I'm still in that darker color, so in case anybody's wondering, that's what I'm touching my pencil, my brush to. I may have made this too dark right here. I don't know. See, often when I'm working on this, I'll come in too dark and then I'll have to darken everything because I don't like the result. I'm going to turn her around now, and you can see kind of what I've been doing. Gonna give her some more dark streaks because I feel like it. Now, her part is right here. So normally, because the roots are darker on people, right where the part is going to be darker. So that's why I just went in there with more color. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put some of the lighter color back in now. Now, I'm not going to do it too much because this isn't fully dry, and I want it to dry a little bit so that you can see the color. If you put the if your image is really wet and you again start to put color down on top of the wet image, you won't see the detail that I'm trying to achieve, which is the line, more of the dark lines and streaks, basically like somebody got a what do you call it? What do you call it now? Dyed their hair and got, what are those called? Highlights. Because that's what I want. That's kind of the effect that I'm going for. More like a highlighted effect. Could I go with another color? Probably. I mean, God, I got 120 colors here, right? So I'm just going to fill in some more around this flower because it's bugging me. Okay. So that's where we're at right now. We're at 8 minutes, and let's see. You can see kind of where I'm going with this. I hope this is helpful. I don't know if it is or not, but you know, like I said, I'm not a professional, and I've only been doing this for a little while, and I like the result that I'm getting. I still love my Copics, but this is coming more easy to me, or natural for me, and I don't know why that is. Ooh, let's do her eyes. I'm going to use the lighter of the two browns to do her eyes. And boy, those are really dark eyes, aren't they? Maybe I should pick some of that color up. Oh, I like that. I think I just moved my pencils because I don't... Okay. No, I'm alright. Alright. Leave the hair alone for now. And let's go back to the skin. 9 minutes. Okay. So hopefully I have not lost anybody too badly. Let me show you the hair up close. Can you see that? You can see my brush strokes in it, but I'm not done. I would still play with this some more because, you know, I want more of a, you know, tendrils here and over here, and I'm not satisfied with the way the brush strokes are being left in there. So I would still work on that, but, you know, I would go over it. I have to wait until that water kind of dries up a little bit. The color dries up a little bit. So I'm just putting more shadow up in here because I want it a little bit darker still. And then I'll fade it out a little bit. Okay. So try not to leave a puddle and try not to leave a line because, well, most people don't have lines when they put their makeup on, but we all know, we've seen pictures of stars that go out in public and you can see that line on their face. That's embarrassing because they have professionals that do their makeup, right? So now I'm just going back and actually just adding even more shading to her hair, to her face, so that her, you know, it looks kind of rounded in a way. Can you guys see that? And then I'll go back in for her body because her body is still too light for my liking. I think I was a little light on the color. Again, we don't want her to be two different colors because, well, her body should probably have at least a same tone as her face. Okay. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I will probably go ahead and continue to color this image. And what I just did was added kneecaps by putting more color right here where I think her kneecap might be. I'm also making it a little bit darker up under the dress because usually, you know, there's a shadow there. So I will probably make this kneecaps more apparent by adding more color, but I have to wait till that dries. I'm sorry, you can't even see that. There you go. Go zoom out. So that is my coloring for right now. I think I can go back into the hair. I have a few more minutes and I can work on that a little bit more. So I'm just showing you, you know, I'm going to go back in with some more of the color. And I'm going to try not to make it muddy. I want to make it like, excuse me, I am so sorry. I want to make it like, she's got highlights in her hair and you can see the individual sections that she has in there. So that's why I'm doing the brush strokes the way I am, because I want you to see that. And, you know, that really isn't something that you have to do. It's just my preference, as I said before. this is all what I've kind of preferred. So if you want to do it a different way, watch other folks' videos. Learn how they do it. It never hurts, right? You're learning a different way of doing it. And you may like their result better than you like mine. And I'm okay with that. Because as I said, this is the way I like to do it. Or have learned or taught myself to do it. I think we're getting to the color where I want to be. Okay. Okay, we're almost at 15 minutes, so I'm going to stop here. And so leave a comment or question if you have it below. I will finish this image and I'll show you this at the end, okay? Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.